It was a grey London afternoon, rain tapping softly on the windowpanes of a solicitor's office in Lincoln's Inn. Inside, William Falder sat hunched over his desk, eyes darting to the clock. 23 years old, nervous, mild-mannered. A clerk barely noticed by those around him. But that day, something stirred inside him, a storm that had nothing to do with the weather. Across the room, Ruth Honeywell stood near the window, trembling. "He hit me again, Will," she whispered, her voice brittle as glass. "I can't go back." Falder turned pale. Ruth, gentle, kind Ruth, had been trapped in a brutal marriage for years. Her face bore no fresh bruises, but her eyes carried shadows deeper than any wound. "You'll leave him tonight," Falder said, almost too quickly. "I'll get the money. We'll go somewhere, anywhere." Her eyes widened. "How, Will? You earn £5 a week. We've nothing." "I'll find a way," he said softly. And he did. That evening, as the office emptied and the rain grew heavier, Falder sat alone with the ledger. He stared at a check written by a wealthy client. £30, the number haunted him. His hand trembled. Just one stroke. One change. No one would miss it. He altered the figure, just enough to save her, not to steal, but to protect. His heart pounded like thunder outside as he folded the check, sealed it, and walked out. But justice, cold, mechanical justice, had eyes everywhere. The forgery was discovered within days. Falder was arrested at his desk, Ruth sobbing behind him. He didn't resist. In court, he stood small and shaking. "I did it," he admitted. "But not for myself. I had to save her." Ruth wept in the gallery. "He did it for me. To save me from my husband." But the judge was unmoved. "This court," he said sternly, "does not concern itself with sentiment. The law is clear." And just like that, William Falder, who had never raised his voice in anger, never stolen a penny before, was sentenced to 3 years of penal servitude. 3 years, behind stone walls where time moved like ash falling from a dead fire. In his prison cell, Falder changed. The youth in his eyes faded. He spoke less. Walked endlessly from one end of his cell to the other, as if trying to escape the bars in his mind. "I only wanted to save her," he whispered one night, pressing his hand against the damp wall. "Why does the world punish love and reward indifference? They called it justice." But Falder knew better. When he was finally released, the sun felt unfamiliar on his skin. The world outside had moved on, but the world inside him had not. He tried. A kind employer gave him a small job, another desk, another ledger. But whispers followed. Eyes narrowed. "Ex-convict," they murmured, just loud enough for him to hear. One afternoon, Ruth found him sitting on a bench in the park, staring into the distance. "You've changed, Will," she said softly. "I left the man you loved in that prison," he replied. "This one. I don't know who he is." Still, he held on, until one day, the past came knocking. A small mistake, a form left unsigned, a technical violation of parole. The same officer who once arrested him now stood in the room again. Falder's chest tightened. He looked at the officer, then at the window, then back at the officer. "No," he whispered. "Not again." They called for help, but before anyone could stop him, William Falder stepped to the window. He looked down at the street below, at the carriages, the people, the sky that had once been his. And then, without a sound, he jumped. They buried him quietly. No headlines. No trial. Just silence. And long after the world forgot his name, one question still lingered in the hearts of those who remembered. Was this justice? A man punished not for his crime, but for his compassion. He forged a check. But society forged his cage. And in the end, it wasn't the law that killed William Falder. It was the world's refusal to forgive.